The Square Ball Podcast.
Hello, we are underway with another summer update. Dan Moylan here with Michael Normanton and Rob Conlon. Welcome back from the USA, Rob.
Thank you very much. It's just what I wanted when I was out in the lovely weather watching the Copa America. I can't wait to be back in a dingy little room with you guys. It'd be great.
It's not dingy in here, it's lovely.
Have you come back with any Levi jeans and things like Reebok trainers that you can't get in England?
It's tights, isn't it? It's
stockings.
What is it, stockings during the war?
I've not come back with any stockings, no, believe it or not.
No. Okay.
I don't want them as well.
Wow. levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball for a 10% discount on your legal fees.
Yeah, but do you want me to talk about some services for businesses?
If you could.
Well, I say talk about, I'm just going to list some. Commercial dispute resolution, commercial property, licensing, professional negligence, commercial property disputes. There's a little list for you.
Done commercial property disputes twice there, I think?
No, I did commercial property and commercial property disputes. They're two separate things.
Okay.
One is about stuff around commercial property. One is about if you've got a dispute about it.
In terms of sponsorship, do you remember there was talk of us taking some Dirty Sky money?
Yeah.
I've gone back and looked at the proposal that we received. That was due to run from June the 3rd to July the 28th. So they probably want to get a move on with that.
Oh.
So I don't think that's happening, is it?
I could have listed the channels for them if they'd wanted. Sky Sports Football, Sky Sports Golf, Sky Sports Premier League.
I think it was to plug that new Plus channel thing that they're running all the games on instead of iFollow, but anyway.
Well, I either am delighted to welcome them or we'll continue to slag them off, depending on how it goes.
Yes, well, it could be the slagging them off that's maybe dissuaded them a little bit.
No way.
I don't know, but we will be on that Sky Sports Daft Plus channel, whatever it is, when we kick off against Portsmouth in, is it 19 days at the time of recording?
Seems very close, doesn't it?
That is very close. That's soon. That's soon. They're away training in Germany at the minute. Did you see that Leeds fans have found them?
It was always going to happen.
Yeah.
I was saying, I was even looking at the videos they put out and thinking, there was a picture of the corner of a training centre where you could see Meslier was just sat on a bench, actually. It was when Jayden Bogle was going around doing his little introductory hugs. But it's quite a distinctive looking building that Meslier was next to. I thought, people will recognise that. You could see all the trees in the background. I'd be like, that'll be a particular bit of Germany probably that's like that. People are like, oh, that looks like the such and such forest.
Like a native species of tree.
Yeah, people will be able to work that out. They'll work out like the areas Fark has gone to before, which was Rob was saying just before the recording, that people have looked at that. You can piece it all together, can't you?
Yeah, someone on Reddit, I think they'd read an interview with Sam Byram, who'd said, I've been on pre-season tours to Germany with Farker before. They're all kind of the same. So someone on Reddit just looked at where they'd been previously and it's, again, pretty much the same place. So they're like, probably there, maybe.
It's all a bit mad, isn't it? The whole secret thing. Like embargoes all over the place. They're not allowed to show the games live, but they can show them as live afterwards.
I heard they're going to be AI generated.
They could be, couldn't they? They genuinely could be. And then the Leeds reporters are embargoed from reporting on it until after it's all happened. It's all very strange.
It's basically because they know Leeds fans are mad enough to travel to Germany to watch some mysterious games, and there are some out there. I do know that who are poised to get a last minute tip and go stand on a hillside somewhere to watch a game potentially from like across a car park, a running track, and whatever else is in the way.
Yeah, as Graham Smith from the YP said, like if he went missing or whatever, you'd expect Leeds fans to get on the case, wouldn't you? Find him in a heartbeat. No, fair play, good detective work. But then again, we are sort of in that era now of the amateur detective, aren't we? And the
the realms of people trying to work out how tall someone was from carpet tiles. I remember that, trying to work out who
wet floor signs as well.
Who the potential new signing would be. Because like, your average floor tile's like 60 centimetres or something, and he looks like he stood there, so obviously working out the angles, but people had done all the geometry on it and stuff to try and work out if someone was like 5'10" or 6 foot.
It passes the time, doesn't it, Rob?
I suppose so. I remember there was Arsenal fans looking at like what brand of gym equipment some potential signing was stood next to. But I'm quite excited for the whole like big reveal of these friendly announcements. Like they could just come out and say, "Oh, we played Real Madrid at 3 a.m. last night, and yeah, we won 5-0." But we're not going to show it.
It's a little bit North Korea Kim Jong-un rounds of golf, this, isn't it? Where he's scored like the highest ever.
Did he get 18 holes in one or something?
It was just maybe slightly more than that. Maybe
that made it believable.
Yeah, 20. Let's say 20 on a full round.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Oh, you've just been watching the golf, haven't you, as well, up at Troon?
I have. Yeah.
How was Kilmarnock? Did you enjoy Kilmarnock?
Jesus.
Does it make Bradford look charming?
I mean, bear in mind I'm from Wakefield, and Wakefield these days is not. It was never like a salubrious place particularly, but it was all right. Was Wakey growing up, but when you go there now, it is kind of a dump.
Is it fair to say that the prison, which contains some of the highest risk offenders in this country, is one of the main tourist attractions of Wakefield?
I don't think people go there optionally, generally speaking.
It's on Love Lane, isn't it? Sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, and you can see it from the train station. It's quite a nice prison, actually.
Yeah.
If they ever open it as a museum, it'd be quite a hit, I think.
Your kids can't wait to go there.
Probably would have to work out what you do with the people in it first.
Right.
But anyway, details anyway. But yeah, Kilmarnock, wow, bloody hell. That was a very shut down town. The BHS sign was still there. Index catalogue shop was still there.
When did British Home Stores shut down?
10 years ago? Must be. I did check Index because I knew that was 2005.
That's the old Littlewoods catalogue shop,
It was
wasn't it?
it was kind of like an Argos alternative. Do you even remember Index, Rob?
That has, really rung a bell.
I was going to say, as the youth on this show.
But yeah, it's...
Do you remember shops, everybody? Do you remember the British High Street?
Woolworths, HMV. Amazing, wasn't it? Fantastic, isn't it, really?
I'm just having a look. So yeah, BHS, when did it shut down? Just talk among yourselves for a minute.
All right, fine. But yeah, there was a Wetherspoons.
Nice.
That was very Wetherspoonsy. Did find a nice Italian restaurant.
You ate there rather than the Wetherspoons?
One of the nights, it was full the other night.
Right.
But I wouldn't... If anyone from Kilmarnock is listening, I'm sorry, but I probably won't stay there again.
Okay.
What did it lack, in your opinion?
Anything that was open.
Right.
It seemed a very shut down town, was mainly it. And it did have which I didn't venture into any of the really scary looking ones. It seems to be a particular Scottish type of pub, which is like a single story.
Flat roof?
Not a flat roof, but it's a single story end of a row, quite small looking. They always just look fucking terrifying. You can't see them at all.
Right.
It's got loads of them. And it's sort of pub you walk past, you go, could be full of interesting characters.
Might be a bit stabby.
Or might just get my head caved in right immediately upon hearing an English accent. So just stay clear. Stay in Wetherspoons where I can order on an app.
I mean, you are the man of many voices. You could just go in there and do a Scottish one, presumably.
That could have gone really well, yeah.
Anyway, back to the football.
Absolutely wouldn't have thought I was mocking them.
Back to the football. We beat Harrogate. Far more salubrious surroundings. We beat Harrogate 3-0 on Friday. Chris Mack wrote about it on our website. You can find the report from that at thesquareball.net. We played an exotic 3-4-3 formation for a bit, which was very, very exciting. But it was lovely to see them again, wasn't it? I thought.
I'd say I was away, but I have actually watched the full 90 of this on LUTV, such as my dedication to Leeds United pre-season friendlies. But I thought we were pretty good, weren't we?
Yeah, I was. It kind of ticked all the boxes for a pre-season friendly. Like a couple of new signings, some young players, some very young players in Harry Gray's case.
He got a song, Rob?
He got a song before the game had even started. A new exciting formation. The sun was shining. And yeah, I was actually, like you, Dan, I was surprised that they returned. And I was like, oh, I like these guys. I'm glad they're back. I'm excited for the season to start, which I never expected, I must admit.
Yeah, when the LUTV footage starts, you can immediately hear Harry Gray's song going on in the background. You're like, nice. We replaced him straight away.
I did enjoy, because it's the tight surroundings of a small ground, the pictures of like Brendan Aronson getting off the bus thinking like, am I going to get my head caved in here? Because I'm sure,
by a 15-year-old.
Because these people are a little bit frustrated at me. But he kind of sat all sheepishly on the bench. He didn't feature, did he? I don't think Aronson in any sort of capacity, but he just sat there, just off to the side, just keeping his counsel.
I think they're probably handling this quite cleverly in that they've gone, right, we'll let him be seen there, then we'll put some training photos out, it'll be on them, and then maybe he'll come off the bench in the next game, and we'll just get people used to him again.
Maybe that's why they've gone to Germany, because that's where he's been.
And I must admit, it is kind of working, because I did watch a little video of him training and went, oh, it's Aronson. Oh, fine.
I think Chris Mack wrote on the blog, is that the whole reason why we're going to Germany in secret, just so we can reintroduce Aronson and Verba, and no one can give them like the Belushi treatment, basically.
Yeah.
I did once see, I went to a pre-season friendly at Guiseley. I think it was Bielsa's first pre-season, and poor Yuzuki Ideguchi was just sat by the bench in like a thunderstorm in Guiseley, having remained an unused sub, just looking like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, what has gone wrong in my life?
Smell of Harry Ramsden's or the Weatherby Whaler just drifting down the wind there to the old to the bench. But yeah, no, it was nice to see them back, and yeah, nice to see some football again. I realised I was probably as invested in that Harrogate friendly more than a number of games in the Euros. Not necessarily England games, but like
England games are the worst.
Yeah,
you could fully have watched a second game with some of those England ones.
But it was lovely. It was some nice moments in there. Was it who nearly got the red card? Was that
that was Charlie Crew?
Charlie Crew.
Jesus. Because at the LUTV footage of that, they'd missed it the first time round, and it showed a replay, and you sort of watched it and went, bloody hell. I mean, it was a red card, really. You would, if it was a serious match and VAR were looking at that.
Are you going to start the campaign for it? VAR and friendlies because you love it so much.
Exactly, yeah. I want to punish children with it, mainly.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was getting stuck in, not shy, amongst those League Two.
Let's go with that.
League Two, those League Two plodders.
And yeah, Harry Gray, as I mentioned, got the song, came off the bench. Is he still 15?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's wild, isn't it?
He's massive as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I do sort of think they played him just to be like, look, the Greys haven't all fallen out with us. Look, we're still mates. Like, I think I messaged you.
Put him in the shop window, Rob.
Well, there you are. But I think if Eddie Gray comes on against Valencia, then we know they're up to something.
Yeah, yellow kit we've got as well. Wondered, will that one... Well, will we? If we even play these mysterious friendlies, we're getting a yellow away kit, as rumoured. Yellow with the smiley badge.
See, a proper Leeds pre-season, you should have tape over the sponsors.
Okay.
I remember that in the League One admin summer, turning up at York with gaffer tape all over the shirts, because they're like, yeah, we've got these kits. None of the sponsorship deals are relevant anymore, but we're gonna go with. And I suppose if you don't like the Red Bull, gaffer tape over it is a solution.
We should just play the full season like that.
Yeah, there is quite a story playing out on the front of that shirt, isn't there? With the smiley badge that's got all that heritage there, and there's little details like the Adidas stripes with the white infills between them, just as a nod back to that 70s kit with the smiley on. Yeah, it's got a Red Bull logo just underneath. And the issues with Red Bull are quite self-evident, but it's interesting having that heritage next to this corporate behemoth
that actively destroys heritage of football clubs.
It's just it's an interesting story, isn't it, when you look at it? But it's a fantastic shirt. I really like it.
See, I kind of wanted something better.
Really?
I don't know why it sounded when I heard it was going to be.
What did you expect?
Yellow kit, smiley. I don't know. I expected it to look a bit better than it does.
They haven't quite got the smiley right. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah, I know.
It's not like the blue insetting the blue. It's filling the full circle.
Yeah, which I know.
Have we had it as that?
I think it hasn't existed on some kits like that. The smiley's had different colours. It's had different angles. It's had slightly different outlines to it over the years. It's had writing around the edge sometimes not. So I realise it has had a lot of versions over the years, but yeah, that wasn't quite right. And I don't know. I don't really like the white infill.
I'll be interested when we see sort of a proper photo of it and a photo of the players wearing it. But yeah, there are like photos of back in the day of like Norman Hunter with his badge like sewn the wrong way around and stuff like that. So I suppose if it's the right way around, at least it's a start.
And I suppose with the old kits as well, you can see them running out, and sometimes they've got a different colour shirt than shorts, because obviously they've just washed them through the season, and it's really faded, and the shorts are made of different material, so they've not faded. It just looks like proper Sunday League stuff, which just breaks it's a little throwback to when things were just a bit half-arsed in football, whereas now they obviously like have a change of kit at half time, don't they, stuff, because it's got wet or whatever.
Who was it that played? Was it the 6-0 at Sheffield Wednesday with the tag still hanging out of his shirt?
That was Jason Pearce, wasn't it?
Of course, yeah.
So
got it from the shop.
Better than that.
Yeah, I mean, streets ahead of that. I really like it. I think it's a great kit. And whilst I won't be paying full price for it, I will be sorely tempted towards the end of the season. But actually, the only thing that genuinely puts me off is thinking, it's just the Red Bull thing. Which, and people will go, what does it matter? And that's fine. If that's your opinion. A sponsor makes or breaks a kit. It's interesting, isn't it? Just where Red Bull sits on that whole value of a sponsor thing, because we don't know how this ends up. I think that's what my only slight concern about the whole Red Bull thing. Not slight concern, major concern.
Yeah, because over the years we have kind of moaned sometimes about the sponsors being a little bit low rent. Like when, not to slag them off, but like when Flamingo Land came back, people were like, fucking hell, Paul Bell's only got like 2 phone numbers, haven't they? Yeah. And over the years when you were like, what actually is enterprise insurance? They barely have a website, or Spotop, where it's
a white label gambling company.
One of those. Yeah. Whereas Red Bull are one you can, they're not quite on a par with like Coca-Cola or something, but they are legitimately one of the biggest brands in the world. But then there are fears. Yeah.
Yeah, if they were just that, then you'd go, fair enough. It's the other stuff. But, we've said enough about that. But it's got a collar. It's yellow. There've been complaints about a lack of yellow away kit for years. Yeah. Angus Kinnear told us they don't do them. Yellow kits don't sell. I think this one will sell, I was going to say millions, but they won't make millions.
No.
But it's...
It'll sell plenty.
Yeah, very much so.
And as Rob says, when you see professional athletes wearing them, they'll look a lot better than like just on a crumpled hanger.
Jayden Bogle charging down the right, scoring at Bramhall Lane, standing in front of the Sheffield United cop in his yellow smiley shirt, just going, yeah.
I was going to say, standing in front of Chris Wilder.
God, he was so salty, wasn't he? His face.
Yeah, I can't say, like...
That made me look forward to the season again, Rob.
Absolutely, and it made me really happy we've signed Jayden Bogle, because I only really know him as one of the Derby players from that playoff semi-final, but seeing how unhappy it made Chris Wilder made me incredibly happy, I must admit.
I enjoyed in Bogle's interview where he was doing the old, looking forward to playing in front of the fans. It was the sort of softball questions they get, and he was like, it's a really good atmosphere. I've played it before. And you're thinking, which game was it? Well, how did that one end?
If you do the maths backwards, what year are we in now? 2024. That happened in 2019, didn't it? The play.
Are you going to say he was young?
He was a young man. He's only 23 now. He was 18 years old then.
In fact, the binocular stuff actually.
It's funny.
It's fine. Yeah. It's fine, isn't it? Really.
What I do want to know is he going to tell somebody at the club who shat on the dressing room floor?
Well, let's just assume it was Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
He shook it down his photocopier salesman trousers.
Do you think he did that? Because I'd always sort of in my mind envisaged him trousers round his ankles and squatting.
Don't know really.
Mr. Whippy style.
Do you think he did? Do you think he joked about it and then went, "No, seriously, I'm going to do shit." In that way, he does.
Everyone would have stood around looking shocked. Frank, you're the manager. What are you doing? Put your trousers back on.
It's possible. Let's hope he doesn't sue us.
No, well, no. It's just indulging in a comedy fantasy here, aren't we? Like, it's not real.
I'm glad you said comedy fantasy. Do it on the glass table, Frank.
But Jayden Bogle coming in it settled a few nerves down, because we're at a sort of a delicate kind of 1 in, 1 out, because Rasmus has gone out to Eintracht Frankfurt on loan, and he did that looking mean in a photo.
He's kind of 1 in, half out, isn't it? let's face it.
Did you see the quotes from their manager about Rasmus?
I did. You sadly went ahead of me already on the daily email about the line he said about basically
I haven't seen this. What was said?
Oh, he said we already have a lot of great footballers in the squad. Now Rasmus brings a different element, and you're like, but he goes on to praise him rather than going, we've got some good footballers and Rasmus Christensen.
He said he brings a lot of punch, which again I joked that he's just generally punching himself in the face watching Rasmus Christensen play. But yeah, their manager's called Dino Topmuller, which I really liked as well, and he's named after Dino Zoff, I found out.
That's nice.
Quite like that.
Leeds United can confirm Rasmus Christensen has decided to join Eintracht Frankfurt on loan for the 24-25 campaign. The defender spent last season away on loan at AS Roma in the Italian Serie A and has now opted to head to the Bundesliga for the forthcoming season. End of story.
I mean, the pettiness of the has decided thing does actually quite annoy me, because I did it with Jack Harrison and I was a bit like, well, who gave him the option to actually be able to leave just for free, essentially? And then with Rasmus, it's like, did anyone want him to stay? Like, is anyone actually asked?
Well, I was going to say, because a few people have picked up on Angus Kinnear's comments when he was on our show last summer, and he, whilst they couldn't get into the details of the clauses because, well, it's legally it's confidential, isn't it? The players' contracts. He said it wouldn't be a problem this summer. And do we know if Rasmus has exercised that clause in his contract? Has he still got that? And is it a problem? It depends how you define not a problem, doesn't it?
I mean, it looks a lot like he's got the clause, because in part of the initial reporting of this, they were saying, it's a loan deal with an option to buy at 15 million, which everyone went, so it's a loan deal then, because there's not a chance anyone's looking at Rasmus Christensen play football and deciding he's worth 15 million.
There's someone on Wacko who, I can't remember exactly who it was, but it just caught my eye and made me laugh. Said it might as well be 150 million, that clause.
It is. They've stopped reading at that point, haven't they? They've gone, so we've got the loan deal, we just need to cover off the option to buy, We think 15 million. Yeah. Fine, put it in. Whatever.
It's the Hadi Sakho thing, wasn't it? When he had like a 60 million euro release clause, you think, fucking hell, we're signing him permanently
For £1.5 million or whatever it was we actually paid for him in the end.
Yeah, in terms of ambitious transfers,
We need to, if we're talking rats, then Verber's back as well. That's one that's not been. We've not fully discussed that because he is. I've expected actually him to do a Christensen here and go, yeah, he's coming back, but then within a day or two, be like, no, he's off again.
Yeah,
but he's gone to Germany.
I mean, he did play for us in pre-season last summer, and by all accounts, suggested he was going to stay, and then fucked off because, like you say, he's a rat. So there's still time for that to happen.
Teasing us again.
It will be interesting to see how this is handled by the crowd. I think there'll be a little bit of leeway. Do you agree for him and Aronson? But they will be given a far shorter rope than anybody else.
I feel like Aronson will get a bit more because he did at least do a full season, and he's young, admittedly not as young as his physique would lead you to believe. Whereas Verber came in in January boasting about being a warrior, and then fucked off again by May, and it was like, right, thanks.
And also, at least Aronson seemed pretty honest that he was going to leave straight away. Like it was the day after we were relegated. Liam Cooper goes into the change room and says, if you don't want to be here, fuck off. Aronson seems to be straight on the phone to his agent, like, can you get this story in the Athletic, please? That I've got a release clause. Whereas Verber was like, no, I'll hang around. I'm a leader. I'm a warrior. And he's like, oh, actually, no, I'll see you later.
Yeah, don't really fancy this. Yeah, we'll see, won't we? But yeah,
I mean, if Verber does come back, like he was all right in the Premier League, so you have to deduce from that he would be a decent centre back in the Championship.
Yeah, and in terms of rat antics, it doesn't get much better than what Willie Gnonto did last season, which was to actively campaign to leave, get told no, and then be made to stay. And people still accepted him back to a certain extent anyway. To
an extent. It's never been the same though, has it?
No.
It is. I mean, I said when Gnonto was refusing to play last summer, like, everyone goes, there's no coming back from that. And you think, if they come back and play well, people actually quite quickly forgive. I think there is always that thing in the back of your mind where you don't always necessarily trust them, but people are actually a lot more forgiving in football than we like to let on.
Because ultimately it's about the destination of the club, isn't it? Rather than any individual players. Like, I think you learn as time goes on, and for whatever reason, you don't fall in love with players as much anymore.
And it does. We have to acknowledge it does work both ways as well. Like, if clubs are trying to get rid of players, they will do their absolute best to, like, freeze them out at times, won't they? They'll stick them in, like
if you needed 40 million in the bank urgently at the end of the PSR window, for example.
For example, yeah. And I remember in the season, like when Antonucci's got to 14 goals or something, and we were not allowed to play him because it would have triggered a bonus. You think, well, that's kind of shit. You incentivise a striker to score goals. He scores goals, and you go, not that many goals. That's expensive. And these will be, if you score now, it'll be meaningless because we're 15th. So how about you just don't play anymore? So there are two sides to it, aren't there? I suppose there are sometimes when you listen to ex-professionals, they will bemoan not being more sort of, I guess, selfish in their career when they go, well, I said that I'd leave then, but actually I screwed myself out of a load of money and I should have done this for my career. But I suppose the people who got out soon last year clearly had their own career very much in mind in Aronson. But now he's chosen, not because of a lack of offers, because he really wants to come and play for us.
Well, ultimately there is a legally binding contract at the root of this, isn't there? And it's two parties have got involved in that, and sometimes one party is going to hold the other to what it says in it. Don't get any more basic than that, I suppose. I was going to say before that in terms of ambitious transfers, Cody Drame has not ended up at Dortmund or Newcastle. Okay. Looks like he's going to Hull City. Yeah, some sort of arrangement has been made between the clubs whereby, because we're entitled to compensation because of his age.
It's almost Europe, isn't it? If you think about it.
Yeah.
It's edging towards. So
bit of a commute, isn't it, really? Getting a ferry over there for training.
He could get his own hovercraft, maybe. Something like that.
Yes.
Head over to Feyenoord for a bit. But yeah, fine. But Bogle, we didn't really talk about him, did we?
No, we didn't.
He's a good signing, I think. He seems like a very, very sensible signing. Someone who's played loads of games in the Championship. A couple of, admittedly, quite, not on a personal level, but quite bad seasons in the Premier League where he's conceded loads of goals. But young, but not that young. Yeah, seems quite obvious.
I'm also not going to pretend to know much about him either. Like, he's beyond the Derby Spygate goggles when they beat us at Ellen Road, and the reaction to this and the fact that it's pissed off Chris Wilder And if you look at the fan reaction to it, they're a little bit annoyed that one of their better players has gone for what they perceive to be like a knockdown price, and it reflects a lack of ambition from their board. All that stuff makes me think, fine, you know what? Looking forward to seeing how this goes. And there's the possibility, I suppose, if we do go up, that he increases in value.
Yeah. The best I can say for him, having seen a few Sheffield United games last year, is that he didn't stand out as being their worst player because they were terrible every time I saw him. But I think it seems like an obvious sort of a transfer to go for. And he's someone as well that I guess are we into the realms of accepting we might not go up this year? Like planning ahead for another year if people who might be affordable.
No, I think
ongoing, I don't know.
If you look at players who are coming down and top end Championship, it feels like we're kind of trying to get that, inhabiting that space between the bottom end of the Premier League and the top end of the Championship. So I think that's about the pond that we're fishing in.
It doesn't feel like a punt, which is good.
Yeah.
I think that's all we've really wanted. It's where they did well last summer, getting players like Ampadu and Kamara, ironically, but players who are just, like you say, played a lot of games and know what they're doing and know what the league is about as well. Yeah,
although I will say Caldalo was one of those, and he did one of the worst passes I've ever seen in that friendly. Threaded a ball between three players in his own box. I think he was trying to pass it to Charlie Crew. Just went straight to them. I remember seeing him thinking, I remember Caldalo doing this last year. Just like the blind panic of being like, I know I've been told not to go long, so I'm just going to pass it short regardless. Like sometimes just kick it out for a throw in, Carl. It's a much better option.
Well, we'll wrap the show up on some new breaking news at the time of recording, lunchtime on Tuesday. We've heard that Andrew Schwartzberg and Eugene Schnur have joined the board at Ellen Road. And
are those regen American businessmen?
Yes. Andy, as I call him, has replaced Rudy Klein-Thomas as vice chairman at Ellen Road, although Rudy Klein-Thomas remains a significant investor. There were some murmurings about maybe that the fund that he'd bought in with hadn't quite, been fully capitalised or whatever, and maybe somebody had to make some money up somehow. So I wonder if there's been a very slight changing of the guard there. But you turned up an interesting fact, wasn't it? Was it you, Rob, who found this out, that they're known for affordable housing, these two?
Yes, I mean, I turned up that fact. I read Nancy Froston's tweet.
Right.
But yeah, that is on there. So I don't know if we're going to get some social housing above the East Stand or something.
Well, if it doesn't go well this year and we don't go up, Michael, just demolish the whole thing. Put houses on it.
Well, people have been saying the West Stand needs to be demolished. Stick some flats there.
Right. That's what Fulham have done, isn't it? In the corners of their posh stand by the river, slightly different area. They have the River Thames and it's southwest London.
Ours will be more like Luton with the back gardens, just with the staircase looping over them.
The dugout's literally behind them.
But there you go. Some board news for you.
And we've not talked about Somerville either. He's been linked with the move to West Ham.
But the overriding theme around him seems to be he's not getting a move to a top six club as it stands, which is what he wants. And for everybody else, it's a bit pricey. But I quite like this idea that if we get another year out of him because we've priced everybody out, fine. I do expect him to leave, probably.
I feel like West Ham might be just about good enough for him. It's London as well, which probably has an appeal for a young person. You know,
Rob, do you like young?
I hate London.
He can go see a show.
Yeah.
Go to a nightclub.
Play some video games or something.
Play some video games. Go to Madame Tussauds. That's the stuff thing people like doing in London.
Go for pizza, maybe.
Yeah, the Science Museum, Natural History Museum. I mean, that's a good one, isn't it? There. So yeah, it can do all that. Go look at some dinosaurs. Georgie would actually love the Natural History Museum. I reckon he'd be buzzing.
What are you trying to sell him for?
I'm not. I'm just saying he should go for a day out there. I think he'd love it.
He's probably been, I reckon.
Probably, yeah. Pray for a private tour of it or something.
Although I do see Georgie as more of a kind of a Diggerland guy. Don't you?
Yeah, I can see that, yeah. He'll probably try and get involved when we do the West Stand. Go on, let's have a turn. Georgie, no.
Right, well, we'll wrap it up there then and return later in the week, probably Thursday or thereabouts, and we'll see if any secret games have been secretly played or not.
We don't actually know when.
No.
What days they're even on, do we?
It's a secret.
Amazing. Could be going on right now.
We'll see in a bit.
The Square Ball Podcast.